Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, PrizePicks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the PrizePicks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on PrizePicks for a first deposit match of up to $100. PrizePicks, pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
New Bedford, welcome to the Phil Paleologus Show. With updates and breaking news from the WBSM newsroom and on the WBSM app. And your calls and conversation at 508-996-0500. Here he is, New Bedford's #1 talk show host, WBSM's Morning Mayor, Phil Paleologus.
Hello and good morning, everyone. I wish I was the #1 radio talk show host, but I'm filling in for him. This is Tom Hodgson filling in for the morning mayor, Phil Paleologus, and I'm happy to be able to do that. It's an honor to take on this 3-hour segment for Monday through Friday this week, and I'm looking forward to spending time talking to the listeners. And you all, obviously, you have a lot to say and have a lot of great thoughts. We had some great calls this morning of insights into this whole issue on rent control. It's far more complex in trying to address this problem than just, I think, in my view, suggesting rent control is the solution. It may be well intended by those who are trying to help those who are struggling to meet the cost of their rent, and certainly we all feel for that and want to make sure that that's something that's affordable. At the same time, we don't want to undercut or discourage competitive efforts on the part of those who are landlords to get renters in. And I don't believe, actually, for a minute, that landlords want to get to a point where they just price themselves right out of the market and have vacant apartments. What benefit is that to them financially? It makes no sense. What some of the callers had brought up today, of course, is there is the issue of big corporations, some big corporations, and I don't know to the extent that it's a large percentage of this, but certainly I think there's some validity to it that the corporations buy these houses that go into receivership, and they end up buying them and renovating them and then wanting to attract higher rents to offset the cost of doing that. The problem is, in my view, for them, we haven't had the growth in Massachusetts in regards to new companies coming in with people with higher salaries to perhaps fill those higher rent places. So it's sort of a vicious circle all the way around. And I think the bigger question is, how do we drill in and find out where the real problem is? I think, honestly, one of the problems is if we're talking more, a housing or rental shortage, then we have to ask ourselves, why would that be if there's not people pouring in with higher salaries coming into this area looking for jobs? There must be some other source that's causing this rental shortage. And my question is, and I'm interested in what you think, 508-996-0500, and please feel free to call in and give me your thoughts on this, but how much of it has to do with the number of illegal aliens pouring into the city and into this region? And one of my real questions is, why can't we know that number? Why can't there be a mandatory requirement to report when people through the NGOs, the non-government organizations that are getting money from the federal government to bring people to our communities who are not in this country legally, and placing an even bigger burden on the taxpayer, cutting them short of services they otherwise might be able to access. For example, quick service at the hospital, not overwhelming our hospitals. I was at the border security meeting down in Washington about 4 weeks ago with the national sheriffs. I was in the meeting, and I used to be on the board there, and one of the sheriffs out of Arizona was talking about how in his county, the hospital had been servicing all of these illegals who were coming across who needed health care. They cost them about $23 million, of which they were not being reimbursed. And this hospital was looking at the possibilities of not being able to provide any more services for anyone in that county, never mind the illegals coming across, but anyone. And I wonder how much of what's going on with this rental control proposal has to do with the fact that this rental shortage, people that are coming here, and the NGOs also, I wonder, how much are they paying for rent? And are some landlords tempted to say, well, I can get more because the federal government's giving this money, just demand more? And the reason I say that is, look what's going on in New York. I mean, you got people staying in these luxury hotels that are here illegally. And it's outrageous that they would be being kept in these hotels. We've got veterans that are sleeping on the streets. When was there ever a priority on the part of government and this Biden administration to get our homeless into these luxury hotels, right? You didn't see that. But this is a response to our federal government and this administration encouraging people to violate the rule of law, the laws that, frankly, Congress put in place and won't amend or change. If they want to increase the number of people that are allowed to come here legally, then change the law. But don't expect that we ought to say, well, we'll pick and choose. They will pick and choose which people they believe should be allowed to not abide by the laws and those that should. And that brings me to a question. Why isn't Congress saying, hey, all you people who are waiting your turn, respecting the laws of the United States, doing the right thing, why aren't they making an announcement, much like they are with people coming across illegally? Hey, don't worry about that anymore. Just come on in. We know why. Because they know what they're doing on the border is wrong. They're doing it for political purposes, to try to build voter base in this nation and endear themselves to the immigrant communities. And but in doing that, it points to the very thing that we have a problem with in most things that don't get done in Washington, and that's everything's filtered through that political filter. I lost your caller. I think call back, caller. I'm new at this, so I think I lost you. Call back in. I was trying to work this board myself, and I'm getting there, but. Okay, let's press that button there. We're going to try again. Nope. Please hang. Lost you. I dropped the caller. I'm sorry. I'm hoping to get better at this as the week goes on, but please feel free to call back in. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. At any rate, this is really a serious problem for us, and one that requires, I think, people at the local level to really drill down and understand what are the causes of this, how do we fix it, as opposed to simply going right to rent control, which is what they did in Boston, and suggesting that that's a comprehensive solution. It's not, and I think it doesn't help the market to increase rentals and to get us the kind of rental opportunities that we otherwise need because we're infusing people into here. And I said this earlier on the previous segment. If you just take 1 month of the number of people coming into this country illegally, 230,000 in 1 month, right? And my question always is, where is there a New Bedford in the Fall River? Because that's more than both cities' populations combined. Where is there New Bedford in the Fall River sitting vacant with schools, vacant houses, fire departments, police departments, supermarkets, hospitals, medical facilities, waiting for those 230,000 people to occupy? And the answer, I think you'd agree with me, is there isn't any. So just that 1 month worth of people, never mind the millions that have poured in, where are they going? How are they supporting themselves? what is it doing to the infrastructure of our communities with regards to people waiting to get treatment, hospitals being overwhelmed, schools now requiring more teachers to teach English, and other disruptions in the educational process for people who aren't from here, don't speak the language, and are trying to learn, and they come from different dialects, different countries. How are we managing all this? What's it doing to the quality of our education? That's why we have immigration laws. We're not anti-immigrant in this country. We have immigration laws to control the growth so that we can provide for the people who are American citizens, legal residents, and make sure that there's a quality of life, and it is really the kind of quality of life that our founders provided for us. And so this issue is going to be talked about a lot. It goes well beyond just the important issue of people being able to afford their rent. It gets into much deeper questions about what our obligations are. Have you subscribed to the WBSM newsletter? Our daily newsletter delivers the biggest stories of the day right to your inbox. It's free. You won't be sent a bunch of articles and then hit a paywall when you try to read them. I hate those. We never send you anything you don't want. Just great content from WBSM. Your email address is safe with us. We won't share it with anyone. All you have to do is to subscribe is to go to WBSM.com/newsletter to sign up. That's WBSM.com/newsletter to sign up. Don't forget, great opportunity to learn what's going on, and we'd love to have you join us in our newsletter. We're going to we got a caller on the line, and caller, you there?
Good morning.
Good morning, caller. How are you?
Good. How about yourself, Tom?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, Tom. You know very well that you're a common sense guy. Didn't you see this coming? Didn't you see this happening? Anyone who had common sense, I just find it very amusing, almost hysterical, how the people who actually caused the problem want to correct the problem. They're the problem. They're the reason why we're here now. They're the reason why we have inflation. They're the reason why we have this housing crisis.
You're referring to the illegal immigration problem.
I'm referring to the party in power that caused this problem.
Oh, yes.
This problem was caused by it's so funny. The majority of those people in the city council in New Bedford agree with the policies of this administration. They're part of the problem. You caused this problem. People who voted for this administration caused this problem. People who believe in the way of running this government caused this problem.
Now, are you referring to the national government? Are you referring to
national?
Yeah.
Look at our state. Our state is probably Democrat as blue as can be.
Yeah.
So the people in power in this state, their politics has caused this problem. And you are absolutely right about the housing crisis. It's not going to change. People are coming. We have a red carpet in our state. Now illegals can get licenses. They can do whatever they want here. You think they're not going to come in droves?
Yeah, you raise a great point, and it's exactly the truth. And the question we have to ask ourselves, though, and you raised it in your opening comment, when do we become complicit in all this? When do we become complicit because we're not holding these elected officials accountable and saying, wait a minute, you're not going to do this to our schools. You're not going to do there's a rule of law in this country, and you need to follow it. If you can't do that, and I really believe this, we need to get communities to come together like they do in Virginia over the school issue. We need the people of our communities to say, hey, we're holding a meeting. We want you here, U.S. Senator. We want you here, Congressman, because we want to talk to you about things that are going on right now that are hurting our families, hurting our neighborhoods and our community. And we want you to attend this meeting. And if you don't attend this meeting, Okay, now they may have to work around a schedule, but make them commit and say, if you don't attend the meeting, we're going out and we're going to recruit somebody that wants to do what they took an oath that they.
But Tom, I agree with you, but Tom, you know very well, only way that will work if our government has changed the way elections are and people could sue for slander, maybe people like yourself will still be in office. Okay? That's the problem. People use slander, use hate speech to get what they want. And that's what this party does. Is the party that calls hate speech is actually doing hate speech to get the results they want. From everything, from us having a real common sense discussion about immigration, about inflation, about policies. Everything's hate speech, like with this party. And what you said is absolutely true, but the majority of the people in this state agree with this policy. That's why there's such a move of people who are industrious are leaving this state.
But do they really, do they necessarily agree with it, or are they woked into not saying anything because of exactly what you just said? And I guess I hear what you're saying, and I guess my point is that's exactly, I think, what's going on, and that was to my point. We can't allow people in government to continue to divide us, right? I believe that most Democrats, most Republicans all want to be safe. Let's just take public safety, for example. Everybody wants to be safe. If that is something that we share in common, let's start with that, about how do we make our communities safer.
Well, once we say that, Tom, you're absolutely right. The first thing you say that, you start talking about the fentanyl, you're labeled anti-immigrant.
Well,
you're labeled, and you know very well that you've been called anti-immigrant, racist, everything in the book, because you're just pointing out what your eyes are seeing. You're seeing thousands of people flood the country every day, every day. Where do you think those people are going to end up? In some magical land? They end up in your neighborhoods, in your schools, and the majority of them don't have an education. It's not their fault. They're from a third world country. They have some bad breaks. A lot of them don't even read and write their own language.
No, I understand. Here. I get that, and I'm not disagreeing with that point. I'm just simply saying, and you raised it again. Look, we can't allow people to, people are going to. The far left people are always going to attack everybody. We're seeing it at the federal level. We're seeing it. I mean, look what's going on with Fauci. Look what's going on with all these issues that are emerging right now with the hypocrisy and everything else. But the only way that we change that is as a people. Democrats, Republicans, Independents come together and say, wait a minute. I'm tired of our neighborhoods. And you know what? When you come to our meeting, if you're going to come in here and give us some political nonsense, before you leave, we're going to let you know right off the bat. And be committed to it. We have to as Americans, because there's no other way to change it. The only thing these people understand are votes. And so until you tell them and make sure they know collectively, we're walking out of here, we're going to find somebody else, and you will never serve another day in office because we're tired of our kids being exposed to fentanyl. We're tired of you all not caring. You go down to Washington, there are people outside the neighborhoods all around the Capitol and throughout the nation putting their hands up. I need some help over here. I need some help. And you know what they're saying? We're too busy. Our politics are more important. They never drill into that issue. They just fight over the political arguments. That's all they do. And we've got to get to a place where the American people reclaim this government, take it back, and hold these people accountable. Because otherwise, we're basically saying we have no control. And you know what? We're going to dance to their music, and they're just going to continue to deflect us over here, deflect us over there. As soon as we identify a problem, we have to take the control back. And so we're in a critical time. And I will tell you this. I say this often. Back in the day, everybody didn't jump on those horses. They didn't all jump on those horses during that revolution, but the ones that did inspired everybody else. And we have to be inspired from within by people in our communities, people like you and others who care, who are going to get together and say, we're not putting it up with anymore. And yes, congressman or senator, you need to be at this meeting. And we're telling you right now, if you don't, we're going out there and work against you, because we want somebody in there that is going to uphold the oath that they took and keep their promise. And that's so important. And I'm telling you, otherwise, in my view, this is my opinion, but in my view, we're at a really important time now. I got to go to break, caller, but I appreciate you calling in. Great insights, and I appreciate you taking the time to call in. 508-996-0500. I'm Tom Hodgson. We'll be right back.
The Phil Paleologos.
Well, good morning. Tom Hodgson filling in for Phil Paleologos, 508-996-0500. We're going to go right to the news and back to your calls.
President Biden is set to deliver remarks this morning on the growing chaos involving the banking industry. It started Friday with the sudden collapse of Silicon Valley Bank, marking the biggest failure since the 2008 financial crisis. The Treasury Department is moving to ensure all SVB deposits will be paid in full, with depositors able to access their funds today. That bombshell news was followed up on Sunday by federal regulators announcing the closure of New York-based Signature Bank due to what was deemed, quote, systemic risk. Signature Bank had been heavily involved in the cryptocurrency industry. Biden sought to calm fears over the weekend, saying in a statement that, quote, the American people and American businesses can have confidence that their bank deposits will be there when they need them. North Korea's state-run news agency is reporting that the country launched 2 missiles from a submarine in the Sea of Japan Sunday morning. North Korea's military expressed, quote, satisfaction with the launch and claimed the missiles hit their target precisely after traveling more than 900 miles. President Biden heads to California today, where he'll visit a San Diego submarine base to seal a nuclear deal with the United Kingdom and Australia. Phil Ferrer has details.
The president will announce the deal during a ceremony with the United Kingdom and Australian prime ministers. Australia expected to buy 5 nuclear subs from a San Diego-based builder. This is part of the Australia, United Kingdom, United States, or AUKUS partnership, the meeting to provide information technology to help Australia deploy nuclear-powered submarines as part of joint efforts to counter and increase the threat posed by China in the Indo-Pacific region. I'm Phil Ferrer.
White House sources say President Biden will approve an $8 billion oil drilling project in Alaska. The ConocoPhillips Willow project was initially approved by the Trump administration in 2020, but a federal judge ordered the project to be halted in 2021 due to faulty environment impact assessments by the government. Former President Trump will campaign in Iowa today, a first stop of many presidential hopefuls. His visit to Davenport will be his first to the state since announcing his candidacy last fall. He's scheduled to give remarks on his America First education policy. Meanwhile, former Trump attorney Michael Cohen is expected to testify today before a Manhattan grand jury. Julie Ryan reports.
Court observers say it's a sign that prosecutors are close to indicting the former president over hush money paid to a porn star who said she had an affair with Trump. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office has already questioned at least 7 other people before the grand jury, hearing evidence about the hush money deal. I'm Julie Ryan.
The U.S. still has the safest aviation system in the world. That's according to National Transportation Safety Board Jennifer Homendy. Appearing on ABC's This Week, she expressed confidence despite at least 6 close call incidents between airplanes since December. Homendy explained that while there are risks that, quote, clearly need to be evaluated, the NTSB is investigating to make sure nothing more catastrophic occurs. And it's a wrap on Hollywood's biggest night. Everything Everywhere All at Once is the big winner of the 95th Academy Awards. The film took home Best Picture, including Best Director and Best Original Screenplay. Out of its 11 nominations, the movie won 7. Michelle Yeoh won Best Actress, and Brendan Fraser nabbed Best Actor for his performance in The Whale. Hollywood's brightest stars were also treated to a surprise performance by Lady Gaga. Trey Thomas has more.
Lady Gaga ended up taking the stage at the Oscars. The singer performed Hold My Hand from Top Gun Maverick. Both the song and film were nominated for awards. Variety reports her appearance seemed to be a last-minute decision, as Gaga was said to be skipping the awards due to filming demands for the new Joker movie. I'm Trey Thomas.
In sports, the Bruins fell to the Detroit Red Wings Sunday 5-3. Next up is a game with the Chicago Blackhawks Tuesday. And the Celtics play the Houston Rockets tonight at 8. Now for a look at your local forecast from ABC 6.
Good morning. We have a developing nor'easter that's headed our way, but for today, we're going to remain mostly dry in the morning hours with those rain chances increasing later on in the afternoon. Overnight tonight, that rain does start to set in and becomes heavy at times, and that will remain until Tuesday morning. Those winds will be gusty. We'll see gusts up to 50 miles an hour. So for today, high of 42, overnight tonight, 35 with that nor'easter headed our way. From the ABC 6 Weather Center, I'm Storm Tracker meteorologist Skylar Spindler on New Bedford's News Talk Station 1420 WBSM.
Right now it is 38 degrees and cloudy. I'm Kate Robinson for WBSM News. Stay up to date with WBSM, New Bedford's News Talk Station, and get breaking news alerts with the WBSM app.
Hello and good morning. I'm Tom Hodgson, filling in for the morning mayor, Phil Paleologos. I'll be with you all week from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Phil's taking a much well-deserved vacation with his lovely wife, Celeste. And I hope, Phil, if you're listening, hopefully you're probably sleeping, knowing you, getting your rest in. I clearly understand getting up early in the morning for this show, why you need the rest. But at any rate, I hope you're having a great time and happy to be filling in for you. I appreciate the opportunity to do that. We were talking earlier to a number of different callers, 508-996-0500. And don't forget our app chat, too. You can text us on our app chat here at WBSM. And let me know what you're thinking about as we're talking about these various topics that are impacting us here, not only in New Bedford, the region, the state, and of course, the evolving issues that seem to be happening every day with regards to the incredible hypocrisy in the federal government and the two-sided way of justice that we're seeing in regards to everything from Hunter Biden to the COVID situation with Fauci. It's amazing. It's incredible how much we're finding out. And say what you will about President Trump. Look, he opened up the can of worms that nobody else was willing to open up to because they had a nice little arrangement going on in Washington where, on both sides of the aisle, people in government were tied into this incestuous sort of relationships with China, Russia, all with money deals. And Hunter Biden was a poster child for that, but others too. And people wonder why certain policy decisions are made that don't make sense. And if you dig deep enough, you probably find out there's some deep connection to, some money making opportunities down there. I mean, remember when, I'm sure most of you do, Congress was exempt and could know about, insider trading where no one in the public had that opportunity to do that. They were able to find out what companies were going to be trading or doing whatever that was going to increase value or decrease value, and they would make moves accordingly before any of the public was allowed to do that. And that was by law. And I think it's pretty clear that there's so much that's happening in the country that's impacting and trickling into our neighborhoods with regards to these policies, from illegal immigration. And Secretary Mayorkas, who says, he looks every one of us in the eye and tells you, hey, the border's secure. It reminds me of, I always refer to it as kind of the Wizard of Oz, right? I've said this on many radio interviews across the country that, it's pay no attention to what's behind that curtain. Don't look over here. And as soon as something gets, a focus put on it, and you shine the light on it, they suddenly distract you over here, or they create a distraction so that you won't really drill into it and you won't know. And as things have evolved, I think there's a clear pattern of this attempt by many in government to create this mental conditioning by repetitive messaging. And it starts with some of the national media. just not letting you know what's going on and just repeating these same things about Russiagate, till you believe it. And they know people only sort of pay attention in snippets. That's why radio talk is so important. Radio talk, I believe, is the one media that's going to turn this country back to its values and its principles that were established by our founders and passed on to us, that we've unfortunately seen put in jeopardy by people in government who are frankly out of control. 508-996-0500. What do you think about that? What do you think is really happening, and why we're seeing sort of this, and I don't want to say it's apathy. I think it's people feeling like they can't step in and change what's going on, but we really can. The power rests with us. And it's just so unfortunate. And I know all of you out there are probably feeling these impacts one way or the other, either through frustration, helplessness sometimes. I mean, I can't tell you how many conversations I run into in the public where people are constantly talking about, what about this fentanyl problem? Where so many kids are dying and what's happening. And I keep coming back to this. When do we become complicit? When is it our responsibility together to say, wait a minute, we can't just keep talking about it. We can't say, hey, I'm sorry, but this one died and that one died and 200 a day. Yeah, I know, but what are we going to do? We need to step up because, it is a government. It's supposed to be a government by and for the people, and we need to reclaim that. We need to tell these elected officials that we pay their salaries, we pay for the building they work in, we pay for the seat they sit in. And we need to make sure that they're doing what matters to us, our families, our communities, and this nation. And if they're not, we need to come together, be strong, strengthen numbers, Democrats, Independents, and Republicans. Forget your party differences and talk about what is the end result we want for ourselves, for our families. What is it? And then let's do something. If we agree on these things, let's focus on what we agree on. I mean, back in the day when Reagan and Tip O'Neill were serving together, they would sometimes argue vociferously over issues during the day. And at night, they'd go grab a scotch and play cards. Isn't that refreshing? Isn't that really what we ought to be doing in this country? But we won't get that unless we have the leadership from within. And that means from us as a people. We're going to go to break, and we're going to be right back. I'm Tom Hodgson, 508-996-0500. Don't forget our app chat. We want to hear what's on your mind. Be right back.
The Phil Paleologus.
Hello, good morning. I'm Tom Hodgson, filling in for Phil Paleologus. I'll be here with you for the rest of the week from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and having a great time speaking with a number of callers calling in and just getting a chance to talk about some of the real issues that I think are on the minds of all of us here and across America. 508-996-0500, 508-996-0500. Love for you to weigh in on a whole host of issues, from rent control to the 4 or 2 year mayoral term that's going to be a non-binding on the ballot question, and of course the issues of changing our state flag. Thank you, Elizabeth Warren, the fake Indian, and of course a number of other issues, fentanyl and the impacts that's having on us. It's the equivalent of young adults being lost at the pace of about one airline crash a day, about 200 a day, which is, in those terms, when you look at it, how long would we tolerate something like that? And why aren't we doing something together now to stop this and take care of our family, friends, and neighbors so they're not exposed to this? So we're going to go to my first caller. Hi, caller, you there? Hi, caller, you there? Hello? You there, caller? Caller? Hi, caller, you there? Caller, you there? Okay, we had two callers on the line. I encourage them to call back in. I may have hit the wrong button. This is my first day. I'm figuring out these buttons. It's not that difficult, but apparently it didn't work. So call back in. We'll get right to you. Here we go. I think I got a caller coming back in now. Caller, you there?
Hey, caller.
Hi, caller. You're the caller.
I don't know, but I'm here.
I'm here too.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay,
what's on your mind?
It's just good to hear your voice, and I heard you earlier in the morning, went to church, came back, and you're still with us, so it's good to hear your voice.
Yeah, thank you. So what's on your mind?
You're quite welcome. And your thoughts and your ideas and all the people who called in.
Yeah. You know, you ready for this? You ready for this weather coming at us?
Not really.
I don't believe you're ready for spring like
I'm
me, right?
hoping to only a little bit of snow and let it rain because we don't have to shovel it.
Exactly, and the flowers will appreciate that. They're already starting to come
That's
up,
right.
which is great. Which is great. Yeah.
Well, you have a great day now.
Yeah,
and thanks for filling in for Phil.
Yeah, it's a real honor.
No, you're right on top of things, and we think a lot of you. I know I do.
Well, it means the world to me.
I know you know me. If you were to see me, you would know me.
I bet I would. And I think I might even recognize your voice.
Okay,
Thanks so much.
Have a great day, and God bless.
Yeah, God bless
Stay
you.
happy, strong, and enjoy life.
Yeah, we're gonna go to break. We'll be right back with your calls. 508-996-05. Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
And we're back. Tom Hodgson filling in for Phil Paleologos. I'll be with you all weeks from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. We're going to go right to our caller. Caller, we got about maybe a minute and a half. What's on your mind? Thanks for calling in.
How you doing, Tom?
Good. How you doing?
Not bad. Border, seal it.
I'm sorry?
Seal it. Seal the border.
You broke up steel the...
Put a big fence.
Oh, at the border. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yes.
You know, look, the wall does work, and I've been down there. It's unfortunately, and a lot of people don't know this, I was down in Arizona at the border right after Biden shut everything down, and there was fence just laying there rotting for years. They're still having to pay the contractors because the contractors, as long as they kept the equipment there, were going to get paid. They had a contract, and all the cable was laid for lighting and for cameras, but the federal government refused to let them hook that up. It would have helped the border agents. It would have, increased their ability to be able to have people respond when they were seeing them come over, because obviously you need force multipliers, and it doesn't always have to be people. But this has to continue, and you're absolutely right. The only way to deal with this is to secure the border. And look, I ask people, if the millions that have been coming across, and you've seen them lined up every day, just coming across, while the cartels are making billions of dollars, if those people were all in military uniform, would you describe it differently? Would you describe it differently? Would you say it's an invasion? Of course you would.
Well, of course it would.
Yeah, and so this is how we, But of course, Mayorkas and the rest of them will tell you, oh no, it's not. The border's secure, really.
Yeah.
Well, if they were, all those people coming in were dressed in military uniform as they're flooding over the border every day, you wouldn't say, if they were coming in those circumstances, oh, our country's secure. Of course you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Of course you wouldn't. If
it's a sad situation. This country has gone down the toilet.
Yes, but you know what? We're going to get it back. I got to go, caller.
Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.